Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused, even though nothing obvious happened? You replay every word in your mind, wondering why you suddenly feel guilty, anxious, or responsible for someone else's emotions. At first, you tell yourself you're overthinking. Maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe you're being too sensitive. But then it happens again and again until you start questioning your own judgment. The truth is, manipulation rarely looks like manipulation. It doesn't always come with shouting, threats, or obvious lies. In fact, the most effective manipulators often appear kind, charming, supportive, and trustworthy. They know exactly what to say, when to stay silent, and how to make you doubt yourself without ever raising their voice. They understand human psychology better than most people realize, and they use it to gain control, slowly, quietly, and almost invisibly. What makes manipulation so dangerous is that it doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process. A small comment makes you question your confidence. One guilty look makes you apologize for something you didn't do. One emotional story makes you ignore your own needs to satisfy theirs. Before you realize what's happening, you're making decisions based on their emotions instead of your own values. Psychologists have studied manipulation for decades, and the results are both fascinating and unsettling. Many of the tactics used by manipulators are so subtle that intelligent, confident, and emotionally strong people fall for them every single day. In fact, being kind and empathetic can sometimes make you an easier target because manipulators know how to exploit compassion. Have you ever met someone who always seems to make themselves the victim? Someone who twists your words until you're the one apologizing? Someone who makes promises they never keep, but somehow convinces you to give them one more chance? Or maybe you've experienced that strange feeling where every interaction leaves you emotionally exhausted, yet you can't explain why. If any of this sounds familiar, then this video could completely change the way you see the people around you. Today, we're revealing asterisk 10 powerful signs someone is secretly manipulating you, psychological behaviors that most people ignore until it's too late. Some of these signs are obvious once you recognize them. Others are incredibly subtle and can hide inside friendships, romantic relationships, family dynamics, workplaces, and even everyday conversations. As you watch, pay close attention. Don't just think about one person. Think about everyone in your life. Sometimes the biggest manipulator isn't the loudest person in the room. It's the one you trust the most. By the end of this video, you'll understand how manipulation really works, why so many people fail to recognize it, and most importantly, how to protect your mind, your confidence, and your peace without becoming cold or distrustful. Make sure you stay until the very last sign because it's the tactic that psychologists say is the hardest to detect. And once you recognize it, you'll never look at certain conversations the same way again. Now, let's uncover the first sign that someone may be manipulating you. And it starts with something so small that almost everyone overlooks it. They constantly make you doubt yourself. One of the earliest and most dangerous signs that someone is manipulating you is that they slowly make you lose confidence in your own judgment. At first, it's so subtle that you barely notice it. They might question your memory by saying, "That's not what happened," or dismiss your feelings with comments like, "You're overreacting," or "You're too sensitive." These statements may seem harmless on their own, but when they happen repeatedly, they begin to change the way you see yourself. Instead of trusting your instincts, you start relying on their version of reality. You replay conversations in your head, wondering if you misunderstood what was said. You hesitate before making simple decisions because you're afraid of being wrong. Eventually, you stop believing your own thoughts and begin asking them for reassurance, giving them even more control over your life. This psychological tactic is often called asterisk gaslighting asterisk, and it's one of the most powerful forms of emotional manipulation. The goal isn't just to win an argument, it's to make you question your own perception of reality. Once someone achieves that, they become the person you depend on to tell you what's true and what's not. Imagine telling someone that a certain comment hurt your feelings, only for them to laugh and say, "I was just joking." You always take everything personally. Instead of addressing your emotions, they make you feel guilty for having them. After hearing this enough times, you may stop expressing your feelings altogether. Healthy relationships don't make you feel confused about who you are. They encourage trust, communication, and mutual respect. A person who genuinely cares about you may disagree with your opinion, but they won't repeatedly make you question your intelligence, your memory, or your sanity. If you constantly feel uncertain after talking to someone, don't ignore that feeling. Your intuition often notices manipulation long before your mind is willing to accept it. Learning to trust yourself again is one of the first steps toward breaking free from emotional control. They use guilt to control you. Manipulative people understand that guilt is one of the most powerful emotions a person can feel. Instead of forcing you to do what they want, they make you feel like you have no choice. They know that if they can make you feel responsible for their happiness, their problems, or even their bad mood, they won't need to argue with you. You'll start doing what they want on your own. At first, the signs are easy to overlook. Maybe they become unusually quiet after you say no to a favor. Maybe they remind you of everything they've done for you whenever you refuse a request. They might say things like, "After everything I've done for you," or, "I guess I just care more than you do." These words aren't meant to solve a problem. They're meant to make you feel guilty enough to change your decision. Over time, this emotional pressure becomes exhausting. You stop asking yourself what you want because you're too busy worrying about how your choices will affect them. Even when you know you're right, you still apologize. Even when you're tired, you still say yes. Not because you truly want to, but because saying no makes you feel like a bad person. This is exactly what a manipulator wants. They want your emotions to work in their favor. They want you to believe that protecting your own peace is selfish, while sacrificing your own needs is proof that you're a good person. But healthy relationships don't operate this way. People who genuinely respect you understand that you have limits. They accept your boundaries without making you feel ashamed for having them. They don't keep score, and they don't use kindness as a weapon to collect favors later. The next time someone makes you feel guilty for simply choosing yourself, pause for a moment and ask one important question. Are they asking for understanding, or are they trying to control me? The answer to that question can reveal far more about the relationship than their words ever will. They twist your words against you. Have you ever walked into a conversation with a clear point to make, only to leave feeling like you were the one who did something wrong? This is one of the clearest signs of emotional manipulation. Instead of addressing your concerns honestly, a manipulator changes the direction of the conversation until the focus is no longer on their behavior, but on yours. You might calmly explain that something they said hurt your feelings. Rather than listening, they immediately respond with, "So now I'm a terrible person?" Or, "You're always trying to start an argument." Suddenly, you're no longer discussing the original issue. Instead, you're defending yourself against accusations that were never part of the conversation in the first place. Manipulators are skilled at taking your words out of context. They'll exaggerate what you said, leave out important details, or completely change the meaning of your message. Sometimes they'll bring up mistakes you made months or even years ago just to avoid taking responsibility for what happened today. Their goal isn't to solve the problem, it's to confuse you until you give up. As this pattern repeats, you begin to fear speaking honestly. You carefully choose every word because you're worried it will be used against you later. Eventually, you stop expressing your thoughts altogether because every conversation feels like a trap. That's exactly what the manipulator wants. When you're afraid to speak, they stay in control. Healthy communication works very differently. When someone cares about you, they focus on understanding your perspective, even if they disagree with it. They ask questions, listen carefully, and work toward a solution instead of trying to win the conversation. If you constantly feel misunderstood after talking to the same person, pay attention. If your words are regularly twisted, exaggerated, or turned into weapons against you, it may not be a communication problem, it may be manipulation. The strongest defense against this tactic is to stay calm, stick to the facts, and refuse to be distracted from the issue you originally wanted to discuss. They pretend to care while secretly using you. Not every manipulator is rude, aggressive, or obviously selfish. In fact, some of the most manipulative people appear incredibly caring. They know exactly how to make you feel valued, understood, and appreciated, but only when it benefits them. Their kindness often comes with invisible strings attached. At the beginning, they may shower you with compliments, offer constant support, and make you feel like you're one of the most important people in their life. They remember the little details about you, check in frequently, and seem genuinely interested in your happiness. It feels comforting. and it's easy to believe you've found someone who truly cares. But as time passes, a pattern begins to emerge. They usually reach out when they need a favor, advice, money, attention, or emotional support. When you need them, however, they're suddenly unavailable. Your problems are ignored, minimized, or quickly redirected back to theirs. The relationship slowly becomes one sided, with you giving far more than you receive. One of the reasons this tactic is so effective is because manipulators make you feel guilty for noticing the imbalance. If you question their intentions, they remind you of the few nice things they've done for you. They may say, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me." Those words are designed to make you doubt yourself instead of examining their behavior. The truth is, genuine kindness doesn't come with hidden expectations. A person who truly cares helps because they want to, not because they're collecting emotional debt that they'll demand repayment for later. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, support, and balance, not on keeping score. A good way to recognize this pattern is to ask yourself a simple question. Was this person still treat me the same way if they couldn't gain anything from me? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, don't ignore that feeling. People can say all the right words and still have the wrong intentions. That's why it's important to judge others not only by how they make you feel in the moment, but by the consistency of their actions over time. Real care is steady, manipulation is conditional. They keep you emotionally confused. One of the most effective manipulation tactics is keeping you emotionally off balance. A manipulator doesn't want you to feel secure because emotionally stable people are much harder to control. Instead, they create a cycle of highs and lows that keeps you constantly wondering where you stand. One day, they make you feel like the most important person in the world. They shower you with attention, compliments, and affection. They respond to your messages instantly, make exciting promises, and act as though they couldn't imagine life without you. Just when you begin to feel safe, everything changes. Without warning, they become distant. Their messages get shorter. They ignore you for hours or even days. They act cold for no clear reason, and when you ask what's wrong, they simply say, "Nothing." You're left trying to figure out what you did, replaying every conversation in your mind, searching for a mistake that may not even exist. Eventually, after you've spent days feeling anxious and confused, they suddenly become warm and caring again. They smile, apologize just enough to keep you around, and everything seems normal. The relief you feel is so powerful that you stop questioning the unhealthy pattern itself. You become grateful simply because the tension is gone. This emotional roller coaster isn't accidental. Psychologists refer to this pattern as asterisk intermittent reinforcement district. It's the same psychological principle that makes gambling so addictive. Because you never know when the next reward will come, you keep investing more of your time, energy, and emotions, hoping things will return to the way they were. Healthy relationships don't leave you constantly guessing. You shouldn't have to earn basic respect, affection, or communication. Consistency creates trust, while unpredictability creates anxiety. If someone repeatedly makes you feel secure one moment and completely uncertain the next, don't confuse emotional intensity with genuine love or friendship. A relationship should bring peace more often than confusion. The strongest relationships are predictable in the best way. They don't rely on emotional games to keep people attached. If someone only gives you enough attention to stop you from walking away, they may not be protecting the relationship. They may be protecting their control over you. They make you feel like you need them. Perhaps the most dangerous form of manipulation is convincing you that you can't succeed, be happy, or even function without the other person. Unlike obvious control, this tactic develops slowly. It doesn't happen in a single conversation. It happens through hundreds of small comments, subtle criticisms, and carefully chosen words that slowly weaken your confidence until you begin to depend on them for everything. At first, they may present themselves as the person who truly understands you. They tell you that everyone else misunderstands you, judges you, or doesn't appreciate you the way they do. It sounds comforting, even flattering. You begin to believe that your connection with them is unique and that no one else could possibly support you in the same way. As time goes on, they start planting seeds of self-doubt. They question your abilities, criticize your decisions, or make you feel incapable of handling life on your own. If you want to try something new, they might say, "Are you sure you're ready for that?" Or "You'll probably fail without my help." These comments may sound like concern, but their real purpose is to make you question your independence. The more you doubt yourself, the more you rely on them for reassurance. Soon, you're asking for their opinion before making even simple decisions. You hesitate to trust your own judgment because you've been conditioned to believe that they always know better. Without realizing it, you've handed them control over your confidence. Manipulators also try to make leaving feel impossible. They might tell you that no one else will care about you, that you'll regret walking away, or that you'll never find someone who understands you the way they do. These statements are designed to create fear, not truth. Healthy relationships have the opposite effect. They encourage you to grow, become more independent, and trust yourself. A person who truly loves or respects you wants to see you become stronger, not more dependent on them. If someone constantly makes you feel like you need them to be happy, successful, or complete, take a step back and ask yourself a powerful question. Asterisk, are they helping me grow? Or are they making sure I never realize I can stand on my own? The answer may reveal whether you're experiencing genuine support or subtle manipulation. As you've seen, manipulation isn't always loud, obvious, or easy to recognize. In many cases, it hides behind kindness, guilt, charm, or even concern. That's what makes it so dangerous. The people who manipulate others rarely announce their intentions. Instead, they slowly influence your thoughts, emotions, and decisions until you begin to question yourself instead of questioning them. But awareness changes everything. The moment you recognize these patterns, you take back the power they were trying to gain over you. You begin trusting your instincts again, setting healthier boundaries, and surrounding yourself with people who respect you instead of trying to control you. Remember, a healthy relationship should make you feel safe, respected, and valued, not confused, guilty, or emotionally drained. If you recognized one or more of these signs in someone you know, don't panic. The goal of this video isn't to make you distrust everyone. It's to help you become more aware so you can protect your peace and make wiser decisions about the people you allow into your life. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these signs do you think is the most difficult to recognize? Have you ever experienced manipulation without realizing it until much later? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might help someone else see what they've been missing. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next psychology video. We publish content that helps you understand human behavior, improve your mindset, and build stronger, healthier relationships. Thanks for watching, and remember, the strongest mind isn't the one that controls others. It's the one that refuses to be controlled. See you in the next video.